So I took the time to take a 48 set of Prismacolors, a recent set. This is January 2025, and took a look at the end of the pencils. This is 111 slides because there are 48 pencils, and there's a scan for the end of the pencil that shows you the lead for alignment. So I'm assessing the alignment. It's fairly unscientific, but I tried to be as accurate as possible. So I took my scanner that I use for stamp collecting. I put 2 rolls of duct tape, one on top of the other, and I stuck the pencils in between to make sure that they were standing upright and real tight and up against the glass. And so I put in a bunch of graphite pencils that I have. I put in 34 for a total of 82. So this same setup I can use. I don't have a 72, but if and when I get a 72 set, I can also do it for a 72 set. That's going to be a lot of work and 150 slides. I'm not sure that I'll ever do that, but just in case you wanted to try this on your own set of Prismacolors or any other pencils where you can tell the alignment because the pencils are cut on the end. So the scans are 2400 DPI. The image itself is 80 megabytes, but then when you clip it, because you only have this, you're only going to have this in the glass, it gets to 60 megabytes. And I kept every single clipped in Adobe Photoshop Elements at the highest resolution, just to make sure I didn't lose any of the beauty of the color. The pencils are number 1 to 48, and I didn't match them to their Prismacolor number, but you can easily tell where the white one is and the black one. I think the black one you can tell. And a couple of others you can probably tell. And I did not go through and figure that out. Now, because some of the graphite pencils in here, these are all my set of test graphite pencils. There's one of each of a representative type. And so I do have a from the lab triangular black one. They just came out like a couple of weeks ago. And I got them for Christmas. So that's an example of what I would call near perfect alignment. Yeah, and also, of course, high quality wood. Although in this slideshow, in this analysis, I don't know if I should call it an analysis. I am not looking at the wood or the paint job or anything else, just alignment. I'm not even looking at the color or the lead itself. I came up with a grid. It's okay for sheets. It's not a real ruler. And when I go around and I place it on these images, it doesn't go exactly where it needs to go, so there's some error introduced there. But the images are very high resolution. There's 48 of them. They're about a megabyte in size, and all but one pencil landed exactly where I wanted it on the glass. And the images are higher resolution, so I can actually zoom in more than I'm zooming in right here, which is wonderful. But this is all about alignment. So yeah, the images are not clipped to the exact same size. In hindsight, I should have clipped them all to be the exact diameter of the barrel. Maybe for a follow-on analysis, if I ever do this, it's very tedious. So I don't know if I ever do that also. And the grid placement, as I mentioned, it's just sheets grid placement. So I'm not putting a ruler on something. I'm moving it in finite increments. So it's not that great. It's got an error, maybe like of like a 0.1 to the grid. The only pencil that didn't land on the glass is pencil number 1. What are the odds? But anyways, when I put a grid on it, the units are completely arbitrary. I think if you make it out and the pencil's width is like what, 8 millimeters, I don't really know. Then it's really like a millimeter or maybe like 0.6 millimeters, 0.7 millimeters. It's very small, so it's pretty good. And of course, if the misalignment is in 2 axes, which happens all the time, I use the good old geometry Pythagorean theorem to give a number that's the square root of each of those sides squared, and that's that. And then, yeah, one pencil landed on the glass, and that's that one. So pencil number 2 has its 0.3 units to the left and 0.8 down, and here's the Pythagorean theorem. 0.85. I'm not going to show every single pencil slowly because we're going to be here forever, but I'm going to go through and you're going to get to see each pencil somewhat quickly. And leave me in the comments if there's a way that I can take all these images and put them somewhere for somebody to look at Actually, I will do that. I'm thinking out loud, and I'll put the link in the description, because I have a way of doing that in Google Pictures, my Google Photos. Okay, pencil 3, near perfectly aligned, 0.2 units to the left. 4, okay. And I'm just going to go through a little faster. 5 is one of the bad ones, really way off center. You can see there how off center it is. 6 looks a little better. 7 looks a little off center. 8, little off center. 9, 11, 12. I mean, they're almost all off center. And you can see where the slats meet. I should have, in hindsight, also rotated the image so that the slat divide, maybe it's on the horizontal. That's something that I could do to make a higher quality analysis. Like, for example, here, the slat divide is all around the diagonal, around the y-axis. But this pencil is actually pretty well aligned. And you can pause this and just look at a specific image. As 15, 16 is a little off. 17, also off. And look at the wood. I mean, I didn't look at the wood too much, but the wood looks all over the place on these pencils. I mean, they're using whatever cheap wood they can find. 18. Now, some of the break in the lead itself for the pencil, I think that's not a big deal. These pencils have been lovingly used, and they're fine. They sharpen to a fine point. They're all okay. I had one bad one, and I switched it out, and they're fine. The 48 that are currently in this set are fine. That's reasonably well aligned. 21. And I'm just going to go through them and maybe be a little quiet. I don't think I need to tell you what the number is, because you can see it on the slide. Beautiful color, of course. So typically they're just misaligned as a rule. So we're getting up the counts. And I'm not sure if that's black. I think, because there's a couple of dark colors that we could think of as black. You could by mistake think that it's black. The white one was clearly white. And this, I think, is silver, which, interestingly, and I didn't really get into it too much in here, has a thinner lead than the other pencils. It really is almost like just a regular graphite pencil. Lead. Not a coloring pencil, lead. It's 38. So we're getting to the end, and at the end I have the best aligned and the most aligned, least aligned. This one looks pretty good. Okay, so then when it comes to most aligned, 10 is the winner. There's an error in my measurements, of course, because my ruler does not land exactly on exactly the right place. And this pencil is actually ever so slightly misaligned, but compared to the rest, I mean, it's doing pretty good. So actually, it's a good way to measure the errors that I'm already placing by my ruler not landing exactly where it needs to land. So this, in a real measurement, this would have been like, oh, it's off 0.03 one way and 0.07 another way. but I just didn't have the resolution to measure it that way. And then 3 and 9 were also pretty well aligned, and so were 14 and 29. And then the winner is pencil 16 for sure was the least aligned, followed by 5 and 31, and then 39 and 15. But the average alignment was 0.88, which is poor, and pencil 18 is, I guess, your typical Prismacolor pencil, which has an average of, I don't know what that would translate in millimeters, but it's probably significant, right? And so there are many possible improvements to this type of analysis. Clip the barrel close to the sides, rotate it so that the slat divide is along the horizontal. Pencil 18 almost is horizontal on the slat divide. And then use a finer grid maybe, but I think this is as good as it can get for this very rough way of analyzing alignment.